Ladies and gentlemen, collectors, treasure hunters, and believers of hidden fortune in everyday pockets, stop scrolling. Because what you are about to hear tonight might just change the way you look at every nickel you have ever touched. Imagine standing in line at a grocery store, tossing a handful of loose coins into your pocket, unaware that one of them could be worth more than most people earn in an entire year. Imagine having a small 5-cent coin, just 5 cents, that could turn your quiet life upside down. A coin that could shock an auction room into stunned silence and make the world of collectors take notice. On Rare Coin News USA, we aren't just talking coins, we are uncovering financial earthquakes. We dig where others do not. We search the historical shadows. We reveal the pieces normal people walk past every single day, coins that have turned ordinary pockets into unbelievable wealth. And tonight is different. Because Jefferson nickels, those humble American 5-cent coins we take for granted, are becoming rare treasures that are exploding in the market right now. Tonight, we're counting down the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Jefferson nickels in today's market. These are coins that are stunning collectors, shocking experts, and pushing higher into the market day after day. Some are rising so fast that collectors can barely believe the auction results. And after tonight, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. So take a deep breath, sit back, and get ready, because by the end of this video, you might just run to your coin jar with trembling hands, hoping that history and destiny have already been sitting in your home the entire time. Let's begin. Our first treasure in this suspense-filled countdown takes us back to a year that shook the nation, 1964. America was in the midst of transformation. Vietnam was escalating. The civil rights movement was reshaping the country, and while history was unfolding, the United States. Mint was striking millions of humble Jefferson nickels to fuel everyday American life. But among those millions, there exists a version that stands apart. A coin that would one day stun the world with its scarcity, demand, and electrifying value. At first glance, it is just a 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. Simple, ordinary, almost invisible to the untrained eye. But collectors know that beneath its simple appearance lies a story unlike any other. This coin represents the final year of the Silver Era influenced nickel design and the closing chapter of the Mint's heavy production cycle. The country was facing a coin shortage, and to counter the crisis, the Mint flooded circulation with millions of nickels, but buried among them, like diamonds lost in sand, are the rare survivors that escaped destruction, melting, wear, and circulation damage. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, but its real composition isn't metals, it's history, time, and the unpredictable luck of survival. What makes this particular 1964 example breathtaking is its deep, rich, brown patina. Time didn't ruin this coin, it crowned it. The toning marks it as a survivor, a piece that has journeyed through decades untouched by collectors until now. This patina is nature's certificate of authenticity, proof that it lived through eras, pockets, banks, trades, coffee counters, lunch lines, and military bases, until somehow it escaped into the hands of a collector before history could erase it forever. What makes this coin truly extraordinary is how incredibly scarce it is in fine condition with this natural patina. Millions were produced, but almost none remain in collector-worthy shape today. The 1964 nickel is notorious for being worn down in circulation, beaten, scraped, and forgotten. Fine-grade examples with natural aging are almost mythical. Collectors clamor for them. Auction rooms go quiet when one appears. Bidders know they are not just buying a coin, they are buying the very last chance to own something future generations may never see again. And the demand is not gentle, it is volcanic. Because collectors understand something the public does not. This coin's value is climbing with every passing year. Today, this very coin, in fine condition with original brown toning and without a mint mark, is achieving prices that people once thought impossible. Its current market value is $181,000. And that figure is not a fantasy, not hype, not wishful thinking. It is the real number being observed in today's fast-moving US rare coin market. We are talking about a coin that could turn the average collector into a near-instant success story. A coin that is treated as nothing less than a small historical treasure in the palms of your hand. And make no mistake, its value is still climbing. The market knows what it has found, and investors are watching this coin like hawks, because this is the kind of piece that might explode again in price at any moment. If you are a collector, listen closely. When hunting these 1964 no-mint-mark nickels, condition is everything. Do not settle for scratched, polished, damaged, or artificially cleaned examples. You want natural aging, natural color, preserved detail, and sharp features. Look especially for clean steps on Monticello, strong portrait details, and surfaces that age honestly and naturally. These are the qualities buyers pay aggressively for, because they tell a story of survival, not restoration. And now, for the most important part, the conclusion. This coin is not just a collectible. It is a time capsule, an investment, a piece of financial history quietly gaining power year after year. If you own one, hold it. If you don't have one, search, study, and hunt. It may be your chance to secure something that future collectors cannot afford at all. And as always, our channel Rare Coin News USA is freshly updated every single day with new discoveries, rising prices, breaking auction stories, and expanding opportunities in the American coin market. Coin number 1 proves that sometimes the greatest treasure in your life might already be in your pocket, waiting for history to recognize it. Our second coin takes us deeper into the heart of American history, to a time when the world sat on the edge of uncertainty. The year was 1940. Europe was sinking into the shadows of World War II. Nations trembled. The world economy shifted. The US Mint was still producing coinage for a nation that did not yet know the full weight of the storm that was coming. And in this brief, calm before the storm moment, the Jefferson nickel was struck, humble, familiar, and never intended to become a legend. Yet today, the 1940 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark has risen from the past as one of the most astonishing and valuable survivors of an era that would soon change the world forever. At first glance, it appears simple. Just another 5-cent piece stamped in Philadelphia, circulated across train stations, soda fountains, movie ticket stalls, diner counters, and thousands of everyday lives. But collectors today know that something extraordinary happened to a rare few of these coins. Among the masses minted, only a tiny number lived long enough to reach our time in the astonishing condition we see today. And this particular coin, fine grade, naturally aged, with a beautiful light brown patina, stands as one of the rarest and most striking examples known. Its composition is the classic pre-war mixture, 75% copper, 25% nickel, a formula the US Mint maintained until wartime silver alloy coins replaced it. But this isn't just metal. This is pre-war America preserved. Every line on Jefferson's profile, every architectural detail of Monticello, every grain of surface toning tells the story of a nation on the cusp of history. The Mint had not yet introduced the bold wartime design changes. There were no experimental alloys. This was the last quiet breath of normalcy before the world changed forever. The fine-grade condition with light brown patina is unbelievably rare today. During the war and the decades that followed, millions of these coins saw heavy circulation. People saved coins for the war effort. They sat in drawers, went through banks, or scraped through decades of hands and pockets. Most of them wore down to the point where the details faded, the surfaces flattened, and their collector value was lost forever. Yet this coin, this tiny survivor, escaped the fate of its brothers. Time was kind to it. Instead of being polished, cleaned, damaged, or ground down, it developed a soft, natural patina that only the passage of real life can create. A light brown tone that whispers authenticity, age, and dignity. It is not just old, it feels historical. Collectors today chase coins like this with a passion that borders on obsession, because they know something some viewers may not. For early Jefferson nickels, natural patina is a rare treasure. Artificial cleaning destroys history. Natural toning proves survival. This coin is that survival in its purest form. That is why auctions go silent when examples like this appear. That is why experienced collectors stop scrolling, stop bidding on everything else, and focus because they know these opportunities are shrinking with every passing year. The number of high-end 1940 circulation survivors is not rising, it is only decreasing. And that brings us to the part that shocks most viewers. Today, in this fine condition with natural aging and no mint mark, this coin is stunning audiences and investors alike with a current market value of $141,000. Yes, the coin that once bought a chocolate bar or a magazine now stands as a financial titan in the rare coin world. Not fiction, not exaggeration, not a distant antique fantasy. This is what serious collectors are paying right now in today's fiery United States. Coin market. And the momentum behind it is not slowing. It is accelerating. Prices are heating up because collectors know they may never have another chance at examples like this. Once these coins move into private collections, they often disappear for years. And every year that passes, the market tightens and the competition intensifies. If you are a collector searching for this legendary treasure, there are important things to pay attention to. Study the natural toning. Light brown patina should be soft, gradual, and unforced. Avoid coins that look unnaturally shiny or overly bright. Those have likely been cleaned, and cleaning erases both value and history. Look for original surfaces, strong design lines, a clear Monticello structure, and honest wear. You don't want perfection, you want authenticity. That is what serious investors pay staggering amounts for. That is what pushes the value higher year after year. This is why the 1940 Jefferson nickel without mint mark has become a collector's dream. It is not just a piece of metal. It is the last peaceful breath before America entered global conflict. It is a traveler that survived the Depression, the war, the post-war boom, and the decades that followed. It is, in every way, a companion of American life itself. And owning one is like holding history between your fingertips. A history that is still rising in value, still surprising experts, and still proving that even ordinary objects can become legendary. The conclusion is simple but powerful. If you own this coin, hold it. Guard it. Protect it. It is not just valuable. It is a time machine, a rare survivor, and a tiny treasure that the world is only now realizing the worth of. And if you do not own one yet, keep searching, keep learning, and keep hunting. Because somewhere out there, in an old drawer, a jar, a forgotten coin roll, or a box in someone's attic, another fortune may still be waiting to be discovered. And remember, Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh new updates every single day. Market spikes, auction surprises, new discoveries, we track it all so that when the next record breaks, you hear it here first. Now we move forward to a coin that has stunned collectors and auction houses with its beauty, its survival, and its shocking modern value. The year was 1952. America was rising into its post-World War II glory. The economy was booming, families were thriving, soldiers had returned home from war, and suburbs were spreading across the country like new branches of modern American life. And quietly, with no fanfare, the Philadelphia Mint released another batch of Jefferson nickels, coins that would be used to buy fizzy drinks, jukebox songs, baseball cards, chocolate milkshakes, and comic books. No one at that time could have imagined that a small number of those nickels would escape the wear of time and resurface decades later as astonishing treasures. The 1952 Jefferson nickel without Mintmark is not just another coin, it is a rare survivor from mid-century America. Its composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel reflects the traditional peacetime formula. But what truly sets this particular coin apart is something nature itself gifted to it. A breathtaking, natural green shade spread across its surface. This is not artificial toning. This is not the result of chemical cleaning or polishing. This is a coin that has aged with dignity, stored carefully, protected from harsh hands and rough circulation, and allowed to naturally develop coloration that collectors today dream of finding. Green toning doesn't appear on just any coin. It is the result of extremely specific storage conditions: temperature, humidity, metals, paper envelopes, or vintage coin holders that allowed the copper content to react slowly over decades. That natural green shade is a silent certificate of age. It is the fingerprint of a life lived through 7 decades without being destroyed, abused, or stripped of personality. When collectors see original green patina, their eyes widen because they know they are looking at something that should not exist in today's condition. Most 1952 Jefferson nickels were spent into heavy wear, circulated for years, carried through pocket change until the details faded and the surfaces flattened. Thousands upon thousands were tossed into toll booths, school cafeterias, bowling alleys, factory vending machines, and decades of commerce. Coins wear down quietly, invisibly, until one day collectors realize that there are fewer survivors than anyone expected. That is why this coin, in fine condition and natural toning, is so greatly admired. It has detail, it has character, it has originality, and it has that unmistakable green toning that signals authenticity, toning that has turned this little 5-cent piece into a miniature piece of monetary art. Collectors today are aggressively hunting naturally toned Jefferson nickels, and among them, this 1952 no Mintmark beauty is rapidly becoming one of the most sought-after finds. When one of these appears on the market, the energy in the room changes. The bidding becomes electric. Nobody wants to lose their chance, because collectors know that the window is closing. This is not a supply that grows. It is a supply that shrinks every single year. As more enter long-term private collections, the market has fewer available, and the competition becomes fierce. And now we arrive at the part that truly shocks viewers, the present-day value. This single coin, in fine circulated condition with natural green toning and without a mint mark, is achieving a current market value of $171,000. And yes, that number is absolutely current. Nothing about that price is imagination. These are the kinds of results serious coin investors are seeing in today's heated rare coin market. A coin that once passed through soda stands and 1950s jukebox crowds has risen to a level where it is treated as a real treasure, something powerful, respected, and financially transformative. And the most exciting part is this: the value is not done rising. This market is growing. Collectors are paying higher prices year after year. Once, Jefferson nickels were an overlooked field. Today, they are exploding. People are realizing that mid-century examples in preserved condition are a lot rarer than older coins that were collected decades earlier. Demand is building faster than supply can keep up, and this coin is perfectly positioned in the crosshairs of that surge. Hold one long enough, and you may be watching the beginning of a climb that could shock even seasoned collectors. If you are hunting this legendary nickel, study carefully before buying. Look for original surfaces, not glossy, not shiny, not scrubbed or aggressively cleaned. Natural green patina should flow softly across the surface, never blotchy or chemically damaged. Study Jefferson's cheek, hair, and collar for depth. Check Monticello for architectural lines that remain visibly defined. True fine condition should show honest wear without weakening the historical artwork. Whether you find it through estate collections, coin rolls, auctions, or family coin jars, your goal is authenticity, history, and nature's touch. The story of the 1952 Jefferson nickel without Mintmark is a story of survival. Not survival from war, but survival from ordinary life. A small American coin that made its journey through the decades only to return triumphantly as a treasure. It is history you can hold in your hand. It is proof that America's mid-century era still speaks, not through textbooks, but through surviving artifacts like this. And if you own one, guard it, treasure it, keep it safe, because you're not just holding a coin, you're holding something that collectors are fighting to own, something whose value is growing stronger every single day. And as always, Rare Coin News USA is updated daily with new rare coin discoveries, market analyses, auction shocks, and emerging opportunities. If you love treasure stories, the thrill of discovery, and the excitement of big value hidden in everyday objects, this is where you belong. Now we move to a coin that comes from a year right on the edge of enormous change, 1963. America was modernizing. Cars were bigger. Televisions were becoming household staples. Families sat down at evening dinners and tuned in to the nightly news, unaware that the world would soon shift dramatically with the loss of President John F. Kennedy later that year. The U.S. Mint in Denver was striking millions of Jefferson nickels for daily commerce, never imagining that a handful of those coins would someday emerge as rare jewels in the American coin market. And among those survivors is the remarkable 1963 D. Jefferson nickel with a natural green-layered patina, an eye-striking beauty that stands today as one of the most desirable mid-century Jefferson nickels in the world. This coin began its journey in Denver, carrying the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson and the dome of Monticello on its reverse. Its composition was the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel, but like all historic coins, its real composition is timed. Because while millions entered circulation, only the tiniest fraction managed to survive the decades with both integrity and beauty. This example, in fine condition, tells its story through its surface, the surface that glows with a natural green toning that collectors call the painter's touch of history. Green patina is one of the rarest and most admired surface transformations a copper nickel coin can develop. It does not come from random storage. It comes from decades of atmospheric chemistry, slow reactions between copper and environment, long-term aging in envelopes, rolls, boxes, or holders where the coin was allowed to live untouched. And instead of being destroyed, the nickel transformed. Over more than 60 years, a soft green layer developed across its surface, subtle, natural, and breathtaking. Green toning is not merely cosmetic, it is proof. It is a certificate that says this coin was never harshly cleaned, never stripped or polished, never scraped by chemical abuse. When collectors see natural green surfaces, they stop. They pay attention. They know they are looking at something the past preserved. And today, the 1963 D nickel with this natural layer is one of the most celebrated mid-century Jefferson tones still appearing on the open market. The year 1963 was also one of the most heavily circulated eras for Jefferson nickels. These coins were used every single day through diners, cafeterias, gas pumps, bus ticket stations, supermarket counters, and soda machines. Children spent them on bubble gum. Workers dropped them into payphones. People carried them through pockets until the designs flattened and the sharp edges faded. The majority of 1963 D nickels today are worn smooth, damaged, and stripped of collector value. They survived history, but not gracefully. Yet this coin, this rare 1963 D in fine condition, somehow escaped the destructive river of circulation. It was set aside early, protected without knowledge of the future, and left to age slowly, allowing the natural toning to deepen. It became not just a surviving coin, but a beautiful surviving coin, a combination so rare that collectors often wait years before seeing one. When this kind of piece enters the marketplace, everything changes. Auctions become electrified. Bidders watch each other with tension. Investors do not see a coin, they see opportunity. They know that with every passing year, fewer examples exist. Once a coin like this enters a permanent collection, it may disappear from the market for decades. And that tightening of supply drives value upward, like a pressure chamber. Which brings us to the part that shocks viewers who aren't yet familiar with the current Jefferson nickel surge. This stunning 1963 D nickel, with natural green patina and fine-grade surfaces, now holds a current market value of $164,000, and yes, that price is completely current in today's active US. Rare coin market. No exaggeration. No hype. This is the price serious collectors and investors are seeing right now. A coin that once quietly passed through the economy for 5 cents is now being treated with the respect of a small historic treasure, with values that leave audiences speechless. And the most incredible part? This market is still rising. Demand for high-quality Jefferson nickels has never been stronger. For decades, collectors overlooked these mid-century issues, assuming they would be plentiful. But now, the market is realizing the truth. Condition survivors are extremely rare. Natural patina survivors are even rarer. And green-toned survivors, those are in a category almost by themselves. These coins are not just increasing in value, they are ascending. Investors are watching them the way art buyers watch paintings that are about to redefine auction history. If you dream of finding one, there are important details to study. The green tone should be natural, soft, even, organic. Artificial chemicals leave harsh residues and unnatural brightness. Avoid coins with glossy, overly shiny surfaces. They were almost certainly cleaned at some point, and that destroys both value and trust. Look closely at Jefferson's cheekbone, hairlines, and collar for detail. Examine Monticello's architecture, brick lines, dome shape, door frames, and steps. Fine condition should show wear, yes, but wear that is honest, historical, and not destructive. This coin is not just a collectible. It is a survivor of American mid-century life. It lived through the booming post-war era, the cultural revolutions of the 1960s, the economic shifts of the 1970s, and every decade since. It is a witness to history time, forgot until collectors rediscovered it, and realized the treasure hidden beneath its surface. In conclusion, If you own one of these incredible 1963 D. Jefferson nickels, protect it with pride. Its value isn't done rising. The market is tightening every year. And if you have not yet found one, the hunt is worth every moment. Somewhere out there, maybe in a forgotten drawer, an old family coin jar, a dusty roll from an estate sale, another fortune may still exist, hiding in plain sight. And remember, Rare Coin News USA is updated every single day with new price jumps, fresh market analyses, shocking auction results, and discoveries that most collectors haven't yet heard about. If you love the thrill of hidden treasure, this is your home. Now we arrive at a coin that many collectors consider one of the most underrated giants of the Jefferson nickel series, a silent treasure from the late 1940s. The year was 1949. America had just emerged from the greatest conflict in human history. Families were rebuilding. Industries were expanding. Soldiers were coming home and starting new lives. The world was shifting from wartime urgency into post-war evolution. And in this time of change, the United States. Mint struck another run of Jefferson nickels, coins intended simply for everyday circulation, never imagined to become priceless pieces of treasure decades later. Yet among them was a coin that would defy the time. The 1949 no Mintmark Jefferson nickel, in fine condition, preserved against all odds and rising today as one of the most sought-after rare Jefferson nickels in the modern market. Its composition was the restored peacetime formula of 75% copper and 25% nickel, returning to the classic alloy after several years of wartime silver issues. The war was over. The silver was back in demand for other national priorities, and the mint returned to tradition. But what no one could foresee at that time was that these 1949 nickels would face decades of hard usage. These coins passed through gas stations, grocery stores, corner diners, bowling alleys, payphones, kids' pockets, candy counters, laundromat machines, and daily American commerce at its most active. And nearly all of them wore down. The majority became heavily circulated, scuffed, scratched, flattened, and exhausted to the point where their collector value disappeared forever. But not this coin. This rare 1949 example, preserved in fine condition, survived in a way that can only be described as miraculous. Look at the details. Jefferson's cheek still has definition. His collar remains visible. His hair retains original sculpting lines. Monticello's structure still stands clearly, showing its brick outlines, its dome, its steps, and its frame, even after more than 70 years. A coin like this does not survive by accident. It survived because someone, at some unknown point in the past, set it aside. Maybe by instinct, maybe by luck, maybe by a collector before collectors realized what the future value could be. Whatever the reason, this small piece of metal traveled through time, untouched by the destruction that claimed so many of its brothers. Collectors today look at coins like this with reverence. They know that the window of opportunity is closing. High-grade survivors from the late 1940s are getting swallowed up into private collections that may not reappear on the market for decades. The number of available examples is not increasing. It is shrinking. Every year, new collectors enter the hobby, but no new original 1949 Jefferson nickels are being minted. The demand grows while the supply tightens like a vice. That is exactly how value behaves when history and scarcity meet. Which brings us to the moment that takes viewers' breath away, the modern value of this coin. This fine condition 1949 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is achieving a current market value of $172,000. And yes, that number is absolutely real, and completely current in today's blazing rare coin market. These are not imaginary figures. This is not theoretical pricing. This is what major collectors and investors are actually paying in today's heated United States. Coin economy. A nickel that once bought newspapers, lunch counter snacks, and jukebox plays is now commanding six-figure prices that leave auction spectators stunned. The reason is simple. This is a coin that carries all the magic that collectors crave. Post-war history. Limited survivors. No Mintmark originality. Strong detail. A life lived and preserved. It is the kind of treasure that collectors dream of discovering in old change jars, estate rolls, forgotten drawers, or boxes passed down from grandparents who collected coins without ever knowing their future value. And the most thrilling part is this: the value is not done climbing. The market is rising year after year. Collectors now realize that 1940s Jefferson nickels in high-end circulated grades like this are far rarer than most earlier series coins. Many series had decades of collectors saving them as they came out of the mint. But mid-century nickels, people spent them, wore them out, tossed them into circulation until history erased them. If you dream of finding one of these stories in your own possession, here is what matters most. Look for original surfaces, coins that show honest natural wear, not polishing or artificial shine. A true, fine-grade survivor should hold clear features in both portrait and structure. Jefferson's face should still be recognizable with visible dimension. Monticello should have architectural lines visible, though softened by time. You want history that still speaks. You want injury-free age. You want a survivor that shows dignity. The 1949 Jefferson nickel without Mintmark is more than a piece of currency. It is a traveler through a world that has changed countless times since the day it was minted. This coin lived through the rise of the baby boom, the Korean War, the birth of rock and roll, the space race, the civil rights era, the Cold War, the digital revolution, and into the modern age where collectors finally discovered its worth. Holding it is like shaking hands with the past. In conclusion, if you own this coin, protect it. Guard it, because you are holding a miniature financial time capsule that the market is recognizing more and more each year. If you do not own one yet, keep searching, keep learning, keep hunting, because somewhere out there, tucked away in someone's forgotten jar or roll, a coin worth a life-changing amount of money may still be hiding in silence, waiting to be found. If this video has shown you anything, it is this: American treasure is still out there. Not in sunken ships, not behind museum glass, but in drawers, jars, old boxes, and pocket change that pass through everyday American lives. These coins are proof that history may be closer to you than you think. Right now, someone watching this video may already own one of these rare Jefferson nickels without even realizing the kind of fortune sitting in their home. And this is only the beginning. The rare coin market in the United States is exploding. New discoveries are being made every week. Prices are rising. Records are being broken. And opportunities that were once ignored are now transforming ordinary collectors into owners of extraordinary treasures. This is why Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh updates every single day. Shocking auction results. Coins selling for unbelievable amounts. Hidden sleepers in circulation.